has no reason to think he isn't.
Maybe he had a Kiwanis.
He's got Kiwanis.
He has Kiwanis, so that's probably
I got a call from Charlie Dixon today saying he had told Scott. Just 2 cents worth. Yeah. Thank you, Arnett.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Seaver's been held up at Kiwanis. Mr. Meisner is out of town. Please rise for the invocation by Reverend Whit Malone.
Let us pray. Good and gracious God, for the gift of this day, we give you thanks. For our families and our friends, we give you thanks. For this city we call home. For those who serve in government, for firefighters and police officers, for public servants of all kinds, we give you thanks. For the freedoms we too often take for granted, we give you thanks. And for the work you set before us this night, we give you thanks. Grant this body energy and wisdom, vision, and a spirit of cooperation as they seek to build up this community. We pray this in your holy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a special presentation by Mr. Mark Huckabee of our Business Council. And I won't steal any more of your thunder, Mark.
Good evening. My name is Mark Huckabee, and I'm a member of the Business Development Committee for the City of Hickory. The purpose of the Business Development Committee, or the BDC, is to support the continuation and growth of existing as well as new business ventures in the Hickory community. As an extension of the Life Well Crafted brand, the City of Hickory established the Business Well Crafted Award to recognize and thank those businesses and their employees who have made a huge contribution and impact on this community for many generations. The award honors a business that has been in the Hickory area and operating for at least the last 75 years. The recipient of June's Business Well Crafted Award goes to Knipe & Lynn Electric Motor Company. Knipe & Lynn Electric Motor is one of the oldest continuously operating businesses in Hickory. The family-owned business was founded in 1918 by Charlie Knipe and was originally called Knipe Armature and eventually changed to Knipe & Son. In 1959, Doc Lynn started working for the company after leaving the United States Navy. Mr. Lynn eventually purchased the company from the Knipes and has been active in the business for over 55 years. Mr. Lynn's daughter, Sherry Mull, began working on motors at the age of 16 and now leads the company in the general manager role. In the mid-1970s, the company name was changed to Knipe & Lynn. Knipe & Lynn carries a large selection of new and used electrical motors and pumps, in addition to performing repair work on all types of similar equipment. The company has benefited from being located in such a strong manufacturing community, a community with a rich and proud manufacturing heritage. Perhaps one of the most admired attributes of the company has been its ability to adapt and change numerous times over the years as technology has changed drastically. Its 9 employees average more than 25 years of experience with the company. On a personal note, and as a longtime business customer of Knipe & Lynn, I truly admire their ability to not only survive over the years, but thrive during the many tough local economic difficulties, especially of recent years. It is my privilege now to invite Doc Lynn and his daughter Sherry Mull up to receive this month's Business Well-Crafted Award. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I do want to say I've done business with them for many years, and they were excellent people to work with. Great businesses.
Okay. Those of us in business, we can only imagine how long 75 years is. Do we have a motion? Any persons requesting to be heard? Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Moon, Cliff Moon would like to speak, and you know the drill, so
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not going to go into it today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No cheering, no cheering.
Cliff Moon, 2925 8th Street Court, Northeast. I wanted to very briefly speak to the videotaping and video recording of this city council meeting again. And I, again, commend you all for having saved a lot of money for doing it this way and not having to expend the money for a lot of vast changes here, which I don't think are really necessary anyway. I wanted to mention very briefly that I believe, if I'm correct, the city has full access to the government channel with your agreement with Charter Communications. And I would like to take this opportunity to once again, as a citizen, encourage you, based on things other people have said and I've said standing up here, to look into putting this meeting on the government channel at some time in the near future, as soon as it's practicable. A friend of mine sent me an email not too long ago from an acquaintance of his in Ohio. And this acquaintance happens to be a city councilman in a city of about, or a town of about 11,000 people. What struck him and what struck me, my friend, was that they video their commission meetings and put them on TV. Last week, 2 weeks ago, excuse me, we also heard, as we were talking about you were talking about inspiring spaces and other issues relating to the budget, that there were citizens, including some very prominent citizens, who were not really aware of the Inspiring Spaces initiative. I continue to believe and continue to advocate that putting this council meetings on TV would not only enhance the knowledge of people in the community, which I think is really the ultimate important thing, but also would, I believe, encourage people to attend city council. Thank you very much.
We have a motion to approve the minutes of June 4th.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion to reaffirm and ratify on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Fox, second by Mr. Seaver. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That is unanimous. Mr. Meisner is not present. Anything to be removed from the consent agenda?
Move approval of the consent agenda, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lael, second by Mrs. Patton. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion is unanimous. That is carried unanimously. No public hearings. Let's go to department reports.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our first departmental report, I'll ask Assistant City Manager Andrea Surratt to come to the podium. Ms. Surratt is going to present to Council an amendment to a joint economic development agreement that the city entered into with TurboTech Products.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Mayor, members of council, Mr. Berry, Mr. Crone. Tonight I'm presenting to you just an amendment to a joint economic development agreement that council approved back in April of 2010 with TurboTech Products. And TurboTech had been in a space over on off of Sweetwater Road, and then they moved into the old Haynes building the former Haynes Building in our Fairgrove Business Park at 2042 Fairgrove Church Road. And so TurboTech also at that time received incentives, and for that then they said they would invest $3.5 million in new building upfit and renovations to the building, and $3.5 million total for upfit and renovations and machinery and equipment, and then also provide 73 new jobs, and that was a part of the incentive agreement. And for that investment, they would receive a total of $33,750 over a 3-year period back in property tax grants back to the company. And for that, then they agreed to do that under a certain timetable, and they missed that timetable by 2 months, but they didn't do it in vain. They were really working on moving their equipment and their operations from the one space over to the new space on Fairgrove Church Road, and so they asked the city consider modifying the agreement so that they could still receive the incentives, because 2 months later they not only had met their obligation, but they exceeded it because they invested $5 million total in building upfit, renovation, machinery and equipment, and they had 74 jobs created as a result. And so the modification tonight is to change the date in the original agreement from December 31st, 2012, to February 28th, 2013, and then extend that time period to maintain that investment in those jobs, extend it out to the end of 2019, December 31st, 2019. So those are the two changes in the agreement that we bring forth to you tonight. Went through that pretty quickly, so feel free to ask some questions, but it really relates to just amending the agreement and the timetables so that they can receive those incentives, and so that those incentives then trigger state investment as well. The state, there were matching requirements so that TurboTech could receive some state incentives as well. So this just keeps everything in order so that they meet their agreement.
So why would we extend that for that longer time frame to 2019?
Well, because we would normally have had that. We did have that time period, let's see, in December.
It's 10 years. Okay.
Yeah, they needed to meet that for a certain period of time, and that was already established in the agreement.
Could you go back through and explain the extenuating circumstances?
Right. Well, I didn't go on the tour. Yeah. Maybe Mr. Berry would address that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. The mayor and I actually went and met, as well as with county officials, with the folks from TurboTech, and did a tour of their plant and facility. In simple and basic terms, it took them a year longer to relocate and move down here than they had thought. So when we had entered into the economic development agreement with them, they anticipated being able to move down here in about a year period of time. Because of the complexity of moving their business while still meeting the orders that were coming in and trying to relocate the equipment, it simply just took them basically almost a year longer to get completely relocated down here. So the time frame of the economic development agreement, they asked us basically just to shift the whole thing a year. So they haven't received any additional incentives. It's just moving it 1 year. But that needs to be amended by this body, since this is an agreement that you all entered into with them. And the county commissioners, I believe, did it at their meeting on Monday.
Well, the major point that I got from that meeting was what they make. It's a very sensitive process that is tailored to each customer, and they assured every customer that this move would not affect the quality of the products that they were getting to them. And in order to maintain that quality, not have any blips, lost customers, they had to take longer. But a lot of key executives are already looking for property here. They have hired a lot of people. I talked personally with many of the people who talked about how happy they are with their jobs. This is the kind of employer that we have wanted. And the foot dragging, if you call it that, I felt was very well explained. Their key people came back here, expressed their commitment to our area, and I think ultimately we're going to have a lot more out of this one than we expected when we went into it.
This is a good news thing for me. I mean, this is not something that requires, I don't think, a lot of deliberation on my part. I mean, we're glad to see these companies expand. We understand the nature of business. I do, and the fact that it might take a little longer. And I'm just glad that Mr. Ratt wasn't up here telling us that they didn't meet the goals at all. And we're right.
Yeah.
So I'd move approval.
And I think too they had some issues, just the precision of what they do as far as the ground, the building they had to do. That was a lot of it also, and so I'm thrilled that they're here and expanding, and I'll second that.
Thank you.
And they are thrilled to be here.
Did the state have to do anything to change their deal, or is it?
No, basically, the state's incentives are tied to the local incentives, so that, as Ms. Surratt mentioned, that our agreement had to be modified to ensure that they could receive the state incentives that were originally.
So the state will be fine if the city and the county
are
fine. Okay.
That's right, it works together. Now, as the mayor said, their equipment and process are so sophisticated, we actually had to sign non-disclosure or something documents, so the mayor understood what they were doing. I really didn't, but it was pretty impressive.
As if I could have stolen a secret.
I hope you haven't violated the non-disclosure here tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just
Let's keep that out of the paper there. You too, Richard. I'm sorry. Way too casual. I apologize. Motion by Mr. Lael, second by Mrs. Patton. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion is carried unanimously.
Second departmental report, I'll ask Ms. Surratt to come back to the podium, and I believe this is another good news item as we're bringing to you all a request and an application for a vacant building revitalization grant for property at 74 8th Street Southeast, commonly known as Moretz Mill.
All right, thank you, Mr. Berry. So tonight, we have an application for a vacant building grant, and this is an application that goes through your Business Development Committee, and as you are familiar with this program, the grant allows for up to $30,000 to be reimbursed back to the company for eligible project costs for either $20,000 for demolitions and up to $30,000 for renovations. And so the property tonight is the Moretz Mill, and that project is underway. And so the renovation, and I'll show you a few pictures that are just of the outside of the building in just a moment, but the renovation is for the entire structure, and so that's an 85,000 square foot structure. You just approved their National Register nomination last month, and so that is going to allow the property owner to access tax credits that help fund the project. The property is zoned C2, so the commercial uses are appropriate for this area. One of the interesting things about this building is that I say it's just evolved in stages. It has sort of a cocoon center, which is a 1929 original mill structure that's just wood and just a nice little small building, about 8,000 square feet right in the center. And then they added a 1929 addition around that, and then they added another addition in the early 60s. And so you can see that evolution of the buildings as you go through the building itself. But the grant funds will go toward the preservation of the masonry, so doing some tuck pointing to the brick, preservation of the historic steel windows, roof repairs, HVAC replacement, as well as plumbing, lighting, and electrical replacement. And so this project includes a number of uses, including a gym, a spa, some common space, office and retail, and then the Moretz Marketing Group will actually move their headquarters over for this site. So here are a few pictures. So this is looking back west. I apologize, it's a little hard to see, but that's the Moretz sign over the building. This is looking west from the adjacent lot. This is the 1960s addition to the building that wraps around on the north side of the property and the west side. Again, another view of that. So, one of the nice things in the nomination report that the consultant noted was that even this, although maybe it's not our favorite feature of the building, is still significant because it showed the growth and expansion of the hosiery mill at an important time in its life cycle as a company. And so that was a very important, prominent expansion that they did even at that time. And this is the south side of the property. All of those dark spaces are the boarded up windows, and if you've driven by recently, they've been taking those down and opening up that space. There are 2 levels, so if here at the furthest western point of that building, it's 1 level, and it's open, sort of gymnasium style ceiling, open ceiling, and then as you walk back, then there's a 2nd level that goes lower, and all of that will be renovated. And so the Business Development Committee reviewed this application, and the project itself is going to spend $5.9 million in investment, so they most definitely qualify for the highest amount of $30,000 vacant building grant, and so the BDC approved that, or recommended approval of that on June 5th. I'll be happy to answer any other questions.
Do they plan on demolishing any of it, or is it all?
No, it'll all stay and be renovated, so you can walk through and see all the different time periods. It's going to be very nice.
What are some of the plans to go in there, do you know?
Well, just with that list we mentioned, sort of a nice workout facility, spa, and office and retail, and then more office for
so more
rents.
Combination
of things, yes, and some common area to share in the inside as well.
Do you know if they plan to use existing parking the same?
They do. There's parking on the north side. There's also some shared parking with Catawba Paper Box across the street that they are working out an agreement with. And then Mr. Moretz owns the lot to the south across the street in the same block as the Alltel building. So there's a lot of parking available for that property.
Well, I think this is what our whole thing was about, revitalizing areas, and what we've already seen happen over at the Holler Crossing. This will spur more development, so I would move approval.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Patton, second by Mr. Seaver. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That's unanimous. And that is another inspiring space. And it's working out. It meets the general description of what we've been talking about, where we have. I'm presuming there's substantial tax credits going into this. So that's federal tax dollars, local dollars, and private investment. And we're making some things happen now. We are seeing some things happen, and we want to keep seeing things happen. Okay, any appointments?
I have Shauna O'Brien for the Regional Planning Commission.
Any others? Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Well, we need to appoint the Youth Council, I think, officially, because we have nominated people, but now the review committee has recommended the appointments. So Mrs. Patton, would you like to make that part of your motion?
I'll make that part of the reappointments for the Youth Council.
So we got a motion by Mrs. Patton.
Second.
Second by Mr. Seaver. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion's carried. Matters not on the agenda. General comments.
I hope everyone will join for the Pops concert May 30th, downtown under the sales. Seems to another use.
What day?
Sunday, the 30th. June 30th.
May 30th.
May.
June 30th, sorry. Something else is May 30th.
June has
30th.
gone by fast.
It has. We were just talking about that, June 30th, yes.
Well, I've got 2 or 3 things I want to talk about, if I could, real quickly. Does anybody notice what a great job that Blair Cody has done on this building down there?
I saw it. Looks good.
Huh?
Looks good. What's up?
I can't believe how much better that building looks.
Who'd you say?
Blair Cody, down across from City Shoe. He has done a little more than just a facade. He's also put some decorative touches and has covered up his heating and air conditioning units, and he's taken the facade up level with the front facade, and it looks very finished now.
Yeah, it looks like a new building.
Huh?
It's like a new building.
Well, if you get a chance, I think all of us, I've called and left a message about how nice I think it looks. I think it's out of Gateway, and it's looking awfully good. If we could, as I drove through there, I thought, well, Ferguson would do something like that. Nah, I'm not getting into that. Tax reform at the state level is not looking good for us, but it's on hold, so I don't know what the final result will be. I've never seen such a roller coaster of directions that is taken. Swimming at the Y. I received today a list of the people who are swimming at the Y under the joint City and Y program. There are 133 signed up for the first 2 sessions. The city's bill for that is $2,660. This is, the objective is that these people will learn how to swim either this session or some session. They have them divided here by ages, and if you'll pardon me, I'm going to use the descriptions they use. But the first group, the minnows, there's a small group of them in the minnow category. The parent-child, 6 months to 3 years, there are a ton of those. The pike and eel, which are ages 3 to 5, there's a bunch of those. Rays and starfish, 3 to 5. The biggest group are the pollywogs, and there's about 3 pages of pollywogs. Then we have guppies. I'm not making this up. That's ages 6 to 12. We have about a dozen teens and adults 13 and up. I think this is another example of a partnership that works. It makes economic sense, and these young people are learning how to swim. 133 participants. They already have 34 registered for the 3rd and 4th sessions, which start July the 8th. So I'm personally pleased to see my tax dollars going to that. Any other business comments? Motion to go to closed session? Make a motion.
Second.
We need to go to closed session for the reasons stated in the agenda. Ask for all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion's carried. Thank you for being here. We will return here to adjourn this meeting and conduct any business that comes out of the closed session.
So I think let's be